All right, Coach, it's official. UCF in the NCAA Tournament, Tallahassee, and we'll talk about this regional, pretty wild regional, really tough regional. But first of all, obviously, congratulations officially. You knew this was coming, but what are the emotions like here to get now lead this team here to the NCAA Tournament?
Oh, it's just so exciting. And, this was something that we set out to do last year. And to see it come through and be able to live it out is just, there are no words to describe it. I'm really proud of this group, their leadership, their grit. Just like every other team and student athlete and coach out there, this has been a grind. It's been a tough year. But to be able to get back into postseason for a little bit of drought there is awesome, and they're super excited. And I love the way we've been playing going into this coming week.
Coach, congratulations. A split party tonight, huh? Part at UCF, part still back in Tulsa. What happened?
Yeah, so we waited until to find out what our game schedule was and everything, and there was just kind of a little mix up, and so we had two separate flights to get back. And with that being, we got lucky, I guess, that the early risers that had to wake up at the crack of dawn ended up making it, and the other group had weather delays and then an engine. Something with the engine, and they didn't have an engineer on site. So they got stuck there. They had to drive to Oklahoma City, but we just said scout it out. So, we can see where our destination is. But so they're in Oklahoma City right now, and they fly in tomorrow morning. So obviously not the way we pictured it. We wanted to be all together, but we FaceTimed and we had everybody together, and I think we ruined the surprise for them because they were on a delay. So they saw us get excited and then it came up. But, hey, we keep it interesting. That's the type of team we are.
Well, listen, Oklahoma City, I've been there. But, it could be worse places to be at, and maybe that's a foreshadowing, an omen, a good motivational place to be at this time of year for softball players, I would say. Don't you think on that?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. When they said that, I was like, well, they're just stopping by to check it out and let us know, what kind of if we need to bring a jacket or a light coat or something like that. So, but again, our group, I called the super seniors and I got emotional, and I said all I wanted to do was see your guys' faces and just be able to give them a big old hug because I'm so proud of them. And we're going to do it tomorrow. We're going to celebrate tomorrow. Our AD is going to throw a little shindig for us, and so it's going to make them, be back together and be able to live it out together just a day later.
Hey, it's all good there. Let's talk about this regional. I'll give you a couple of stats. You now, as officially, are one of 23 active head coaches that has taken a program, two different programs, to the NCAA tournament. You're now one of 3 active head coaches and one of only a handful of coaches in the history of Division I softball that has led a program from the West Coast and one from the East Coast into the NCAA tournament. 2 of those coaches that are active are going to be on the same field in Tallahassee this weekend with you and Lonnie Alameda at Florida State. She took UNLV. You took, Boise State. And, of course, John Rittman is the 3rd active one. He's doing it with Clemson and Stanford. I know you're not into all that stuff, but that's a pretty remarkable achievement, what you've done here in your coaching career. At the pace you're going, you might overshadow your playing career.
Well, that's the idea, right? People say it's the next best thing is coaching after playing, but don't get me wrong, playing's awesome. It's such an honor to be able to be a part of these athletes' careers and just their lives. So, I can say like our staff works really hard. We put in a lot of time and effort, but the true buy-in from our players and our people really is why things work. And we got all those moving parts at the right time, and this ship kind of took off pretty quickly. And sometimes I got to look around and kind of pinch myself to keep myself grounded and stay in the moment. So, you talk about that. I text my coach after yesterday, and I said, it brought me right back to that Stanford regional where he didn't know what to say to us because, it ended and it was like, this team could never end. And I said, luckily, thankfully, we're not done, but to look at in their eyes and see that heartbreak and know that they wanted it so bad, that's tough. And you want it even more for your athletes. So it's a fun ride, and I'm loving this coaching deal. So I hope to do it for a long, long time with especially with the great people that we have surrounding us.
As the bracket was revealed, what do you think of the regional, and what do you know about Auburn?
Well, ironically, when we played Ole Miss, we scouted their series, so we got to see a lot of them there, and just knowing how they play, they're kind of like us. They can swing it, they can pitch a little bit, they can play defense. They ride the highs and lows. So. But I really like our matchup. I think our depth can stand with any team in that regional. And it's just a matter of playing with passion versus being emotional is going to be a big thing. And I love how we got tested this week with that. So I like the matchup. I think it's awesome. I know we didn't get to play at Florida State last year due to weather. And so the girls are really looking forward to playing in that venue and in the state of Florida and have a big crowd and, take it to a fellow rival. Well, first we got some business to do and then, take it to a fellow rival Florida school.
Well, in this regional, there was a couple times my jaw dropped during the regional selection show. One was when South Florida got a 4 seed and opens with Florida in Gainesville. That's wild to me. That's right. A whole different story. But the other one is Kennesaw State is a 4 here. We saw them up close earlier this year. They've got a great pitcher that they've beaten teams like Auburn and us. So they took a game from us there. They've got with their great pitcher there. Kurt McKay's got a good team. That is one of the toughest 4 seeds. Melody Bennett is a great pitcher. This is one of the toughest regionals in the country here with Kennesaw, Florida State, and Auburn. This is a stacked regional.
Oh, it absolutely is. And, I think that you see how we play against those types of teams. So I think for me as a coach, I don't have to do much motivating. They're already motivated within that. And it's awesome because, each team, like the team has wanted to face those teams. And, we want to get that one game back from Kennesaw if we match up with them at any point too. So I really like our odds, but again, it's going to be great games. And that's what's really important, to see the best softball and not be watching it from home on our couch. We're actually on the field playing it and being a part of it.
3 schools from the American selected. What is your reaction to that? And what do you think it says about the league?
Well, our league is tough, and you got to see that in the tournament this week. There were some tough games and some big swings and some great pitching performances. So I think well-deserved, and it's something that we have 3 to 4 teams traditionally get in. So, we're proud of that as the coaching group from the conference. And I'm excited to see how we go and represent. I know people do not like to play us and, Wichita and South Florida. So it's exciting to see and watch our fellow American teams also play well in postseason.
One thing is clear now. Every time you take a team to the tournament, there seems to be storylines. When you took Boise in 2018, they paired you up with Heather Tarr, who was obviously your mentor. You worked with her at Washington, and she was your coach at Pacific as an assistant. Now they send you to Tallahassee, where you mentioned that Stanford Regional. Lonnie was an assistant at Stanford for John Rittman, who mentioned earlier the stat about you two. You both coached in the Mountain West. You both have now in the state of Florida. Coach Kendra Lynch on the staff was on the Florida State staff when they won the national title. Just a lot of storylines that the national media will obviously be picking up on here this week. Oh
yeah, for sure. As a player, I was in a regional with Coach Lonnie every year. That's who we matched up with with Stanford. So, we've been there and done that for quite some time. And so it's exciting and it's fun. And, that's what you want to get to at the end is playing against the best. And love to see how, like you said, she's representing and just an advocate for the sport and an ambassador for the sport, not only on the West Coast, but now the East Coast, and has done some amazing things along the way in the sport. We lost lights out over here. So, okay, there we go.
That seems like a signal to let you go. Last one from me. How much do you look back now over the last couple of days as you prepare? What do you do with the experience that you've just gone through, and how do you think it's prepared your team for what will now be another ratcheting up of tension and competitiveness?
Yeah, I have to kind of take a step back and really slow down, because one of our players, Haley Bejarano, goes, "Coach Bear, we were walking in the airport on the way to the conference tournament. We had just arrived in Tulsa, and she said, 'So how does the regional go?' And I looked at her, and she's like, 'Well, I've never been.' And I had to think, okay, this is a huge time and a huge point for us. This group didn't know what it was like to play in round 2 at the conference tournament. And so, I'm telling them, act like you've been there, and they hadn't been there yet. And I know we talked about that a little bit. And so they're really setting the stage, for this year, and we're playing for this year, but this is much more. We're playing for the past, we're playing for this team, and we're playing for the future. And so going into regionals and doing our thing, but I think I want them to remember those moments. And, we've prepared for it. Like when we were at Ole Miss, we were in this big meeting room, and there was a mic, and I said, "All right, we're going to do some improv speeches right now." And they looked at me crazy, and I said, "Hey, you're going to have to talk at a press conference after a game." And they're like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, that's what you have to do." And so we've been practicing those things. And we did these little improv speeches. They had to talk about a subject for 30 seconds and just stay cool, calm, and collective. And they did a great job with it. So, we've been practicing this since day one. And so, for the playing softball part, it is what it is. We're a great team. We can compete with anyone. I think we've shown that. Now it's all the other stuff. How are you going to respond to grounding out or striking out or the big crowd, or maybe, all the excitement behind it and the timing, everything's on a time schedule, right? We have a practice time. And so how are you going to respond to all those things? And then also remember to enjoy it is really the big thing. So, I don't know if I answered your question, Trace, but those are the things that we're going to focus on. I get me, I go off on tangents, but those are the things that we're going to focus on. And I think as a coach for me too, this is my second year bringing a team in, and my husband keeps poking fun at me, all right, you got to go get a postseason win in regionals now. You did it in the conference tournament, but now you got to go get one in regionals. So, again, I think that's the bonus, being here and creating that. My eyes are set to go all the way for sure. But I also know that I want them to enjoy this and understand how important it is and how special they are in building that foundation to get us there.
That's a tough critic you got over there. It's rough. But you mentioned obviously your experience in the postseason. You've been to the tournament as a player. You've been to the tournament as an assistant. You've been to the tournament as a head coach. You just talked about that experience and how you hope to imply that to your players. But just what are the emotions like? Compare the emotions getting in as a player and as assistant, as a head coach, especially tonight, as you mentioned, the unique deal with those super seniors, with Aaliyah and Kira Jazz, which this was not guaranteed. A year ago now, we didn't know if they would come back or not. They get to finally taste a NCAA tournament and continue this streak of the senior classes. Every senior class that's been here for 4 years or more at UCF will be taking a taste of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. Well, every experience is a special situation in its own. As a player, just really being proud of being able to represent your program, your institution, and continue to play. And usually you're not in school at that time. School's out, and so you're almost like a professional athlete. You're just playing softball. As an assistant, I feel like we have the best of the, as an assistant, I was this is awesome. I don't have to worry about all that other stuff. I don't have to do those interviews. I get to be on the field with the team, enjoy it, go on that, ride the wave of that team and have some fun and help along the way. And so, my goal when I was assistant was I want to be Coach Colsey and Coach Tar. Like I want to lead my program and make mistakes and make great decisions and do all of that. And so now, the first time that I got in, it was a special situation of a program had never been into postseason, and I thought like nothing will ever top this. And then here you go again, like it's always special and it's always like different. This is a pretty special experience. This program has been strong and has been in postseason for many years and led by a great coach and great pitchers and great players. And so to be able to come and get back into there has been a great challenge and has been fun. And I think I didn't think 2018 would get topped, and here we are topping it, being able to just continue pushing through that ceiling and punching through and saying like there's no limit. So just a ton of emotions, like having a little bit of experience now under my belt as a head coach in postseason, and knowing what to focus on, and even understanding like I need to enjoy this, right? Like I was worried like, okay, is the food set? Do we have this? Do we have the girls on FaceTime so they can see? And I thought, well, shoot, take a picture, this is amazing. And my heart was definitely full. You had the team watching, seeing their name on the screen. And my son is sitting in the middle of those girls, just staring at the screen and like dialed in, and he's like, this is your team, Mom. I mean, I can't tell you what's a better, I took about 1,000 pictures of that. So my emotions, I feel my heart is full. I want my team back. I want my girls back in Orlando. I'm missing them. And once we do that, I'm excited to keep rolling. I text my husband right before the first game of the conference tournament. And I said, I'm nervous. And I said, but it's a good nervous because I know we're good enough to do this. And I said, I think last time I might've been nervous, scared because I didn't know. It's such a great feeling knowing that you can go and compete with anybody, any game. And like, that's so much fun. And that's what this team brings to me.